associate in arts degree that I got in 1964, 1 month before I got on an airplane to go to Chicago to go to training, to student training. In 2003, when I retired, I started writing Turbulent Skies on my layovers, which I'll talk about. But about 6 months into retirement, I took a writing class at Occidental, and it's a UCLA extension. I'd been in school in 40 years, and I ended up getting an A-, and I had a really big head about that. I was in a class with a lot of professionals. I do a lot of talking on my own, even to myself and to the mirrors, and I was very quiet in that class because I was a little intimidated with all of the educated people trying to find a second career. So here I go. Today I'm going to take you basically through Girdles with Garters, which is one of the chapters in the book, and it's me going back to training. After September 11th, the airline industry as we knew it changed drastically, not only for the traveling public, but also for the airline employee, especially the flight crews. The role of the flight attendant, which previously had been the passenger is always right, let him have his tantrums. 2, if they act up or look suspicious, we have the authority to have them thrown off the airplane, while on the ground, of course. Our in-flight procedure also changed drastically. Along with checking out the passengers, we were now responsible for protecting our cockpit crews. This new task required 2 flight attendants, one in the cockpit while the pilot's using the bathroom, and the other near the bathroom and cockpit doors, using ourselves and liquor cart for protection against cockpit intrusion. Yes, our bodies were now defensive weapons. As things took place, our corporate executives were figuring out ways to cut costs and take advantage of the events of September 11th. Less than 15 months after 9/11, United declared bankruptcy on December 9th, 2002. Then in mid-April, our new contracts were waiting in our airline mailboxes. United used the force majeure clause, meaning act of God or war, and took 1/3 of our income and benefits by cutting our hourly pay, taking away our vacation time, taking away and reducing lots of our staffing, and asking us to pay for our medical. In this new contract, our company then promised that if we retired by June 30th, 2003, that they would pay for our medical until we reached Medicare age, and we could keep our small pensions. With these choices, 2,500 of us retired en masse at the end of June 2003. Now I'm going to take you back to that adventure. It was Saturday, July 25th, 1964. That's almost 59 years ago. I boarded my very first jet, a Boeing 720 out of San Francisco, heading to United Stewardess School. I was so excited. I was experiencing my first jet flight, my first airline meal, my first interaction with a real stewardess. I had a feeling, though, that she didn't think we were really cool. She probably thought we were unsophisticated and stupid, unlike her. And I was. Mindset is everything, and her opinion of herself was extremely high. She taught me a lot on that flight, but mostly not how to be like her. After we landed and entered O'Hare International Airport, I knew this was the beginning of my own yellow brick road. I had already experienced San Francisco's domestic terminal, but this airport was gigantic. I was now in the middle of the United States, the farthest I'd ever traveled from my home. After a few months, we became a little rebellious. Not much, just enough to justify supervisors. The months blended into years, and the rules changed. We could be married, we could have children, we could be older and heavier. Then in the late 70s, men were allowed into our profession. We stopped having cute uniforms. We dressed in Navy. We were now called flight attendants. The years moved quickly. We lived month to month, bidding and trading trips in order to juggle our lives. It was a different way of life, a way to escape personal issues. It was a lifestyle we chose, a lifestyle we will miss. But we must say goodbye to what was and deal with what is. The what is not fun anymore. Okay. This is Turbulent Skies, which I'm talking about today. But I'm going to just introduce, it's important because it's part of Turbulent Skies, the forgotten, the flight crews of 9/11. This is the book that took 10 years to write, all facts. This book took about 8 or 9 months to write, and it's all emotion. When my book Turbulent Skies was written in 2004, I wrote a vignette called My Tribute. As I reread this book recently, a few sentences stood out. I had written, did the computers also give shocking information that the hijackers were everywhere? Is that why the whole airline system was shut down so fast? Also, in the last few years, several stories have been told about suspicious Middle Eastern groups on other flights, even as far away as Sydney. On the 10th anniversary of 9/11, some of the FBI investigating files were released, as well as interviews with the crew members. They became public. I truthfully haven't flown in all of these years with anybody that when we hit a bump, their eyes went to the top of their head and they ran in the bathroom. So there hasn't really been many experiences on my flights that people were extremely frightened.
Okay.
I think you really have that if you have an incident before you get on an airplane, like on an airline, and you find out something happened, then you're a little bit more sensitive to your surroundings.
Okay.
Because flying is very, very safe. When I started flying, it wasn't hijacking that scared me, it was our crashes. There's a lot of crashes. And actually in here, there's a history of the FAA, the history of the FBI, and it tells you when the FAA started. It talks about how in the beginning, the military and the commercial, they had the same altitudes that they could fly, and there were a lot of mid-air crashes between the military and the airline, and that's why they changed the altitudes for the military have their own, where the commercials have theirs.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause.